life that you have now, you created that with your thoughts. There are opportunities that you possibly could have had in life, but you do not see those things based on the simple fact that you have a confirmation bias. You have confirmed to yourself that you can't make that money. You have confirmed to yourself that, you can't lose that weight. You want to experience lucky girl syndrome. You heard about it on TikTok or on social media, and you're trying to figure out what it is, how do you get it, and really just how to experience it. So in this video, I will tell you exactly about that and also tell you about my experience with lucky girl syndrome. And as always, let's get right into it. So first, the definition of lucky girl syndrome. It is the concept behind the idea that if you repeatedly tell the universe how fortunate you are, you will eventually start to be fortunate, to manifest that luck. Now, some people may say it sounds very similar to manifestation, and it kind of is, but it's kind of the thing that allows the manifestation to happen. So in my opinion, manifestation is still you putting out there the things that you want, but it's a bit more strategic. You have to be very strategic with the things that you want to manifest. But I feel like for those things to even happen, it has to be a sense of lucky girl syndrome. You had to get lucky that you found that guy at the coffee shop that day that you manifested. You had to even be lucky to be here, if we really want to be honest. Like, think about how many people had to meet coincidentally for you to be here. Like, your parents had to meet each other, their parents had to meet each other, their parents had to meet each other. Thousands of individuals had to interact with each other for you to be here. And the same thing for me, for you to be watching the video of me. Like, that's my idea of more so the lucky girl syndrome differentiated from manifestation. It's the little things that had to go on behind the scenes coincidentally for you to be able to get the things that you manifested and the things that you essentially want. Now, when starting out with lucky girl syndrome, if you're like, how do I get it? How does it work? You have to understand that you have manifested the life that you have now. I've talked about it before, but you have to understand we have something called a confirmation bias, right? So basically, you don't want to seem like a liar to yourself. You don't want to seem like you don't tell yourself the truth. So everything that you think becomes reality for you. Your perception is your reality. How you perceive the world is how it is to you. And a great example of this, I don't know if y'all remember if this ever happened to y'all though. Growing up as a child, your parent was like, "Oh, go in the room and get my shoe." My mom used to say that. Or go in the kitchen and get this, and you're mad because you don't want to do it for no reason. If you think about it, like, I had no reason to be mad, but I just didn't want to do it. And I was like, "Mom, I don't know where it is. I don't know." Like, I'm saying it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where it is. You're not even in the room yet. When you get in a room, you can't find the shoe, and you're literally like, "Where's the shoe? Where's the shoe? Where's the shoe?" And then your mom comes in there and she's like, "It's right here. You ain't see it?" And I used to be like, it literally was right in my face, but I had a confirmation bias. I already told myself before I even got in that room, I don't know where it is. So when I got in that room, it literally was right in my face and I didn't see it. And I feel like that's a great example because that's what happens to us in life. We need to understand that if we believe something, if we constantly tell ourselves something, it's going to become true because we're only going to see those things. And that puts a limit on our life. If you tell yourself you can't make a certain amount of money, you tell yourself you can't live in a certain neighborhood, baby, you don't even need to put that on your vision board because it ain't going to happen. Because you don't truly believe that thing. You're not truly telling yourself that thing consciously. And we also have to worry about our subconscious. And I've talked about this in a video before, but I even had to change the music that I listened to because I realized it was starting to deal with my manifestations, right? I remember when I used to listen to more so, like rap songs and stuff like that. I used to be in a car and I used to drive faster. I don't know if it's just me, but like when I listen to like rap songs or whatever, like songs like that, like I would drive faster. And I noticed that about other individuals too. They would drive faster as well, contrary to when I listen to other kind of music. But sometimes you got to listen to what these people are saying in this music. And I'm not trying to be your mom. I'm not trying to say you can't have fun. But you have to understand if that's what you're consuming on a consistent basis, if that is what you are constantly putting inside of your subconscious, you're consciously putting it in your subconscious. Those are the things you're going to think about. Think about the TV shows that you watch as well. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, growing up, I was a Bad Girls Club girl. I used to love Bad Girls Club. I think I said I wanted to be on here. I was like 8 at the time. Now I don't watch baddies. I'm a grown woman. I'm sorry. I don't want to see a whole bunch of grown women do all that stuff because I need to understand the stuff that I'm viewing, the stuff that I'm watching is going into my subconscious. So I'm going to operate on that kind of level. I'm going to think like that. And I think it's very imperative that you understand the life that you have now, you created that with your thoughts. There are opportunities that you possibly could have had in life, but you do not see those things based on the simple fact that you have a confirmation bias. You have confirmed to yourself that you can't make that money. You have confirmed to yourself that, you can't lose that weight. And so what's going to happen? You're going to constantly see things that's going to confirm that. Even when you get a new car. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like as soon as I got my car, I saw everybody with it. I did not see nobody with this car before, and not everybody got this car. I'm just saying. And so going into confirmation bias, I think we have to understand too, like if I am my thoughts, how do I change my thoughts, right? That's the biggest thing you have to think about when it comes to becoming a lucky girl. How do I become a lucky girl? Because right now I'm feeling unlucky. One of the things that's very hard for people is to be unrealistic, right? Because we come from a certain environment, we come from a certain surrounding, we come from certain things. And so sometimes it's very hard for us to be unrealistic. To be unrealistic because we can't do certain things. And one thing I did, and I think it definitely helped me, was life scripting. I literally, in my journal, right, I definitely recommend this, and especially writing things down. You guys can research it yourself. It's been proven that when you write things down, it's better for your cognitive function, because you literally have to think that thing, and then you're writing it down, and then you're reading it out. Long story short, it's better for you if you write things down, contrary to just putting something in your notes or just typing something up. Literally writing it down on pencil and paper is best. I say that to say I journal as if I am my future self and I am my dream self. And for some people, that's hard. For some people, your dream self, you can't see past just paying your bills. You can't see past just, not having a car that turns off every time you stop at a light. But sometimes I tell individuals, think of a character, but always sign it as yourself. Sign it and date it. And it could be 2 months from now. It could be 2 years from now, 3 months from now, 3 years from now. Always sign it and date it as yourself. One, the date is imperative so you can have an idea of when you want this thing to be, when you're manifesting this thing, and then sign it as yourself so you always know, hey, this is not a fictitious character. This is me. But when you're thinking about it, for some people that you can't think outlandish, you feel like you really can't see that as yourself, start out with thinking of it as a character. Because when we think of characters, when we think of people outside of ourselves, it's easy to give them better attributions, right? When it comes to us, we can talk down upon ourselves, we can think we can't do nothing, but then if you have younger siblings, or you have kids, or you have people that you care about, you would never talk to them how you talk to yourself. You would never tell them that they can't get out of certain neighborhoods or they can't do certain things. So I think it's imperative sometimes too to think of yourself as if you're talking to them, right? When you're building that character, because it's always us. We're so down on ourselves, but think about it like that, and think about the life that you have for yourself. When I tell you I try to be specific as possible, what kind of car do I drive? What kind of neighborhood do I live in? And the great thing about this is that sometimes it causes me to do research. I literally have to look up certain cars and their specific names. I have to look up certain neighborhoods and what's this, that. I think that's another thing to do, right? Try to be specific as possible as if you're journaling. What did you eat today? What did you even talk? Sometimes I might sound crazy, but I even talk about bad things. Like, oh my gosh, my assistant, da 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 da. Like, yeah, do that. Because just make it as realistic as to you. And sometimes also, if you deal with the things of things feeling unrealistic, I also have tried changing my surroundings. And this is one of the first times I really kind of start realizing my lucky girl syndrome. I've had it before, but I really start realizing it is because, long story short, when I first moved into my apartment, my first ever apartment, about 3 or 4 years ago, I moved into my first apartment, right? And my friend was telling me that she was moving into this apartment, and I was like, oh, we were sitting in apartments back and forth, and she was like, yeah, I'm moving into this apartment, you should move in here. And I'm like, girl, do you see the price of that? I could not afford that. And I couldn't at the time. I couldn't afford it. But it just so happened that every single day to do work, I would go to Barnes & Noble. And I always would go to Barnes & Noble outside of the town that I live because I just liked it over there more, right? I felt like it was nicer cars over there. It was more shops over there. It was just different from where I was because physically I was where I live, but mentally I wanted to get out. So I would drive, however I had to away to go to that Barnes & Noble's. I say that to say I will always be like, wow, the houses are nice over here. I want to live over here. Mind you, my friends still lived in that apartment. Every so often I would go over there and visit. Fast forward 3 years later, I have been living in that place for 1 year, right? And I say that to say, It was literally 4 minutes away from the Barnes and Nobles I've been going to for years. Now, I didn't know, like, long story short, it was off of a different exit, let's just say. So like it was literally on the other side. I've just never came that way. So I didn't even know that this where it was this entire time. I manifested that. Though in the beginning I did say that first time I couldn't afford it. After going there the first time, I used to always be like, oh my gosh, it's so nice here. Like I really want to live here. I really want to live here. I really want to live here. And I didn't even understand that I was manifesting that for myself. And so it just came upon luck that I was kind of able to afford it. It just became upon luck that things coincided for me and I was able to get it. But at the same time, I changed my surroundings to make that place realistic for me. Now that I live there, I know where everything is. I know where the grocery store is. I know because I used to always go to Barnes and Nobles over there. And I think that's another thing individuals need to understand too. Sometimes if you do not change your surroundings, you do not see outside of your surroundings. Out of the thousands of apartments they have in the entire state, it just so happened that I ended up there. I don't feel like that was luck. Like that was, when I tell you guys how everything happened, it literally was like the perfect price. It literally was in the perfect area. It like everything coincided for the time period. And I think it's really, I know it's really because I put that out in the universe, that was what I wanted. And I made that a realistic thing for me. And so when I got over there, I didn't feel like an imposter. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in this new town. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's very different from where I did live. But I didn't feel like an imposter because I made this realistic for me. And I think sometimes that's what we have to do. Though I was living in a different neighborhood, though I was seeing different things on a day-to-day basis, I took myself out of there mentally. And that's what a lot of you have to do when it comes to the lucky girl syndrome. It doesn't matter where you are physically. Mentally, you have to take yourself out of places as much as possible. So like I said, with the content that you consume, I always tell you on videos, be aware of who you follow on social media. Be aware of what you're listening to. Be aware of what you're consuming, because all of that is going into your subconscious. And you may tell yourself, oh well, you know, I'm not like that, I just like listening to that. I'm not like that, I just like watching it. I don't like. Yes, you are. You're a product of your surroundings. But the thing is, you can change your surroundings. Your surroundings are not permanent. It is true you are a product of your surroundings. I'm a very big advocate of that. But the place that I came from, even in life, is not even the direction that I'm going in with my life. Because I changed my surroundings. And before you can physically do that, you have to mentally do that. And so that's one thing when it happened, I was like, wow, everything just really aligned for me. Because it's like, how did this happen? But it made sense. Finally, when you get used to writing down the life that you want for yourself, and specifically and figuring out the direction that you want to go into your life, like I said, I really feel like you start seeing those things as well. You stop seeing a lot of BS. Like there's a lot of stuff that I don't even think about anymore, simply because I don't keep up with certain stuff anymore, because that's just not even in my to-do list. You have to understand that you have to do things with a sense of gratitude. And I know some of y'all are probably like, girl, how am I supposed to be grateful? I'm 2 months late on my rent. How am I supposed to have gratitude? You know, my car just broke down on me. How am I supposed to? The fact that you're watching this video, gratitude. Because that says two things about you. First and foremost, you are financially stable enough. It don't matter if you're watching this inside of a library using the library Wi-Fi. You have a device to watch this on. You have the ability to watch this on a device. And second of all, the simple fact that you're watching it on anything means that you woke up today. You have to have gratitude when it comes to trying to become, you know, this lucky girl and manifest the things that you want for your life. Because when you come at it on a frequency of being mad, when you come at it on a frequency of this is what I deserve, and I deserve this, and I deserve that, you're not going to get those things because you're not appreciative of even what you have now. So when you do have opportunities, you're not going to see them as opportunities. And I will be honest with you, there's opportunities that you've had in your life to do more and you haven't done them. And I've even realized that with myself. If I want to even go back to high school, right? I graduated high school in 2018. I was just talking with my friend about it. I'm like, dang, if I had the mindset that I had now in high school, I would have got a full ride to any college in America. Because I'm just like, it was so easy for me, like, really just take time out of my day to actually study. It was so easy for me to just, you get what I'm saying? Make sure that I got good grades. And I wasn't a bad student, but I really was just doing the bare minimum. And I really wish that I was just grateful for the fact that I had the ability to get a scholarship. I had the ability to apply myself, and I didn't. because I was coming at it on a level of, oh, I gotta go to school, and oh, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. But I was expecting to get lucky. I was expecting to still grow up and have a great life. I was expecting to still be able to pay for college, even though it cost $100 million a year. And a lot of you do that. A lot of us do that, even with jobs. And it's also because you only see yourself in that confined space. I only saw myself as a high school student. I did not see myself farther. And I've talked about this on videos before. You see yourself as the job you work now. You don't see yourself as the possibility of what you can do. And so you're not grateful. So when things happen to you, they're actually happening for you a lot of times, but you're not grateful. Like sometimes I'm learning, I literally just have to be grateful that I woke up today. Things happen all the time. It's how you bounce back from things. It's how you react to things that's important. You think just because people, millionaires and billionaires, things will happen to them? Jeff Bezos lose $1 billion every other Thursday. I don't know if y'all keep up with that, but yeah, they be losing money, like like not just no. And you over here mad that you owe $100 in taxes? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like you ain't even ready for the life that you want, but you telling yourself you want to be a millionaire. You telling yourself you want to do all these things. You're not even grateful for what you have now. And another great analogy of this is Isaac Newton. Y'all know I love analogies, a little story, a little history lesson. Isaac Newton, who is the inventor of calculus. I hate that for us that he invented that. The inventor of calculus. So he invented a lot of other things, including calculus, but he actually came up with his inventions during a pandemic. During a pandemic, he couldn't go to school anymore because, you know, everybody had to go home, and he invented a multitude of things. And I'm going to say the things he invented. He discovered differential and integral calculus, formulated a theory of universal gravitation, formulated gravity, and explored optics, experimenting with prisms, and investigating light. I want y'all to understand he did this during a plague. I mean, during a pandemic. Well, it was a plague, but he did this during a pandemic. A lot of people look at pandemics, even us, when that pandemic just happened, I wish I had the mindset of gratitude during that pandemic. I wish I would have looked at it with that idea of lucky girl syndrome. I'm so lucky to be home right now. What can I do while I'm home? I'm so lucky that I'm able to be alive. I'm so lucky that listen, I lost a family member during the pandemic as well, so I'm not trying to make it seem like it was such an amazing thing, but I feel like it's all about your perception of things. And like many individuals, I had a bad perception about this. I want it to be over. When can this be over? This can't be over. And you know what I did during the pandemic? Spend money. I didn't do nothing. I didn't learn anything. I didn't make myself any more valuable than when I started it. If anything, I think my mental health was a little worse. I say that to say there were some individuals that built businesses. There were some individuals that did great things. Isaac Newton, during his pandemic, he literally invented calculus because he looked at it with the idea of having gratitude. And I think, even think about it for yourself. Imagine if you have the knowledge that you have now during a pandemic. Imagine how differently your life would be now. All the things you would have did if you would have looked at it with gratitude instead of looking at it like how we did. When can it be over? When can it be over? When can it be over? And finally, like I said, I want to talk about the risk of lucky girl syndrome. So I have experienced lucky girl syndrome at a crazy rate. Talked about it before as well, but I became a full-time content creator in a matter of less than 6 months. I literally made more money than both my parents had ever made. I was going on vacations all the time. Like when I tell y'all, I remember one time I went to Vegas for like 4 to 5 days. I got back home a day later. I went to Puerto Rico for 16 days. I got back home. We had homecoming. Like it was a lot. And I say that to say I was experiencing lucky girl syndrome, right? I had kind of manifested this life that I had wanted for myself, but I had focused merely on income. And the risk with lucky girl syndrome is that you have to manifest a life. And that's why I talk to you guys about life scripting, writing out the life that you want for yourself. Don't just try to have lucky girl syndrome and manifest a man. Don't just try to manifest more money. Don't just try to manifest little things. You have to manifest a life for yourself, because one of the worst things that can happen is that you get your manifestation and you're not ready for that thing. And that's what happened to me. I manifested money, right? I come from a background of money being a scarce thing, money being a a hot topic and all these other things. So I really manifested money. And like I said, and this is no shade to my parents, but like I was making more money than my parents. I didn't even know how to handle this money. And they couldn't even tell me really how to handle this money. And I ended up in a lot of holes because of it. And I ended up losing a lot of it because I wasn't prepared. I didn't have any investments in mind. I didn't have any savings for real in mind. I didn't even know what to do. And a lot of y'all right now could be praying to get out of your situation. You're praying that you get that money. You're praying that you get that job. You're praying that you get that thing. And you may get that thing or you're not ready. What they said, like 70% of people who win the lotto, these are people who win millions of dollars, go broke within a few years. How is that possible? Because they didn't know what to do with it. And I think one of the risks is that, like I said, you get what you want and you're not prepared. And that's why I say the things that you're saying you want to manifest in your life, it's very imperative that you build a life around those things so they can be substantial. You want to manifest that body? Well, you know what's going to have to come with that body, eating healthy and working out and doing the necessary things. So you have to manifest all of that. You can't just do very specific things because, like I said, the worst thing is you get it. This is no shade to the girls that got their body done, but I know most girls who got a BBL, they get more than one. Why? Because they got what they manifested. They wanted that better body, and no matter if they took out a loan for it or somebody paid for it, they paid for it themselves, they got it. But they didn't even know how to take care of it. That's one of the worst things that can happen, and it happened to me, and it really messed me up financially simply because I got my lucky girl syndrome. I got what I wanted. I got the followers. I got the money. I got the brand deals. And then I got in a situation where it was like, whoa, you owe this money back on taxes, and then you got to pay for this, and you got to pay for that, and then you also got to do this, and then, you know, I lost followers on here, and a whole debacle happened, and I'm kind of starting all over again. And I'm grateful that I'm able to still be at a young age and experience these things and know these things. But one thing I really wish that someone told me is be ready for the things that you're praying for, the things that you're wishing for. As a whole, don't just build a life for yourself. Right? Don't just say, oh, I want that man. Because you know what? You're going to get a man. You know what he's going to do? He's going to run all over you. Because you asked for that man, but you ain't build that confidence. You get what I'm saying? You ain't build that self-worth. You ain't build that self-discipline. And that's what happens a lot to us. We're very minute. We're very short-term. You need to think of this as a long-term thing. And so I want to end that with say, I hope that you understood what I was trying to say. I hope that I was informational for you. But all in all, when it comes to lucky girl syndrome, it's really about being open to abundance. It's really about telling yourself that there's nothing in life that you don't deserve. Literally, even if it's not done yet, you can do it. Like I said, Isaac Newton invented calculus. I say that to say a lot of stuff that we even want, it's been done before. So why not you? Because you come from a certain background, because you look a certain way, because you can't. That's how I've been looking at life lately. Why not me? And so when you do things out of scarcity, when you do things in fear, you're never going to get it. When you're scared of posting that content to look stupid, you're never going to post it. So you're never going to become a content creator. When you're scared of, you know, if you don't know if you're going to get that raise or not, you're never even going to ask for that raise. So then you're not going to get it. We have to understand when you operate from a level of fear, when you don't operate from a level of abundance, and I'm grateful and I'm happy and everything that I want is going to come to me. I just have to figure out what I want. That's what the universe is waiting for you to do. That's what God is waiting for you to do. That's what your life is waiting for you to do, to figure out what you want out of this thing called life and come and grab it, pull it, think about it, manifest it, and embody lucky girl syndrome. And like I said, be prepared for it because it's going to come. It's going to come. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to come back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for new videos. Have a great one. As y'all can see, we still at grandma's house. We are still at grandma's house. I think I might show y'all a tour if y'all want one. It's my grandparents' house has not changed since the 80s. So it's literally carpet in the bathroom. Yeah, it's carpet in the bathroom. So have a great one.